Hello guys, my name is Shia and today I'm gonna be talking about the things I forgot to mention in my previous video. On top of that, I'm also gonna show you guys some new things we found out very recently with the help of Kreyak from the speedrunning Discord. We ended up at the calculator in my last video and I did tell you how to use it, but I have found out some more things, more specifically this untranslated page that we managed to translate with the friend I mentioned earlier. So the settings we have here are pretty obvious ones, but basically here we can see that I was wrong to add 20% from adaptive steel because we already have the setting here. So if we select this option right here, this is gonna turn adaptive steel on, and if you look at the DPS, when we turn it off, the damage drops because the calculator is not giving us 20% critical damage. Some of these settings are not useful for us yet because they are unreleased mechanics that we do not have yet, so I will not talk about them. But for example, here we can see if we take the dummy, it's gonna be exhausted for 10 seconds out of 60, which is a little bit less than 19%. So if we put this here in the calculator, we put yes for morale chant, we don't have this inner way, we don't use attack food, the spear uptime is gonna be the same, around 81.6%. And this is the setting for the Rain Whisper set, which we put at 25% on the dummy. This will tell us how much DPS we are gonna be doing with our current gear. And if you look at this number, for example, and compare it to my 13.5k DPS, if we multiply this by 40%, which we need to do because the calculator thinks we have tier 6 exquisite scenery, you can see that the damage I've done on the dummy is around the DPS that the calculator expects me to do. I've also changed formatting a bit to make it a bit prettier and to make it more clear on what we're filling out. As you can see, we have now the different attributes colored depending on their path. You can use my video to adjust your own calculator with the translations I have here. Of course, credit still needs to be given to Yokal and Love, which is the original creator of this calculator, and Winds from the initial translation that he provided, which helped everybody a lot. What I also didn't show in my previous video is also how I would go about upgrading my gear. Sadly, I'm a degen and I have no pieces anymore to upgrade because I cope upgrade absolutely everything I have. But don't be like me, guys. Let's just take one piece here and pretend that we are upgrading it and what we are gonna be doing. When I said that you can control your stats, I meant in terms of initial stats. So if we see a chest like this, it's a legendary piece, level 71, and it started out with crit rate. Of course, it's not a golden roll, but still 3.8 is a pretty good number, so of course we will try to upgrade this chest. Now, should we use the shells initially for the first stat? Unless you are overflowing, I would not be wasting shells. You want to save them for when the item actually becomes good, because as you can see on this item, we got a crit, we got max fizz, golden roll, which is amazing, but there are 3 stats left over and the odds are stacked against us, so I would not use shells yet. We rolled defense here, which is a dead stat for us. It doesn't provide us with any damage. Again, because of this, I would not be using shells here. And I upgraded this even more because I had enough materials. But if you're struggling with gold, which this takes a lot of money, I would stop upgrading this piece here because we only have 2 good stats, 2 dead stats. It's not worth to upgrade this piece anymore. Of course, as I said, I'm a degenerate. So I gambled and somehow won the gamble and got one of the best stats for me. But I was again unlucky on the attune and I got something that's completely useless. As I talked in the first part of my guide, the only thing we are looking for is Thundercry Blade charge skill damage boost. We didn't hit it on the chest, but it was still better than what I had before, so I decided to use it. Now, let's say we win the Gamba, guys, which we won't usually, but we did right here. Again, a piece with initial crit. One thing to talk about here. The stats that you see below the initial stat, you can only have 1 crit rate. If we roll precision rate here, we cannot roll precision rate again. You can only have 1 stat when you are attuning. The initial stat is excluded from these limits. And depending on the gear piece, they also have a chance to have a different initial stat. For example, the pieces you see right here, these 4 like weapons and trinkets, they can start with max fizz or min fizz. The armors cannot have that initial stat, but they can have critical rate, they can have precision rate, and usually these are the best stats for us to get on the first stat. This is why we want to upgrade these pieces. let's go back to the simulation of how we would upgrade this piece if we were doing it right now. We start with crit. We have 4 stats that we're gonna roll. Of course, we're not gonna be wasting shells yet, unless that's one piece that you've got and you've got 20 shells, 20 golden shells sitting. Then of course you would use them. So we roll precision raid, golden, decent value. We need it. This is a pretty decent piece now, but we have 3 stats left over, so we don't use shells yet. Now we roll max stone split, which yes, it's recommended, but it's kind of mid. But still we have 3 good stats now. Let's use a golden shell. We hit critical rate 3.5%, golden roll, pretty good roll. This piece is now absolutely insane already. We have 3 extreme stats for us, and we have 1 decent stat for us. This is where I would use a prismatic shell. Now what does prismatic shell do? Prismatic shell guarantees that the roll we see right here is gonna be max value. This also automatically makes it gold, because only the golden roll can be max value. So we get this piece, we pray for the attune, we win on the attune, good job. I'm not gonna be replacing this helmet until level 100 with my RNG. This is basically a quick rundown on how to upgrade your gear and how to not waste too many materials on dog gear like this. Don't use shells if you see physical defense, maximum bamboo. Roll it if you have nothing better. Use some more gold to roll it and hope for a good attune, because for us the attune can pretty much save a piece, right? Even if a piece is a little bit bad, if we get legendary charge skill damage boost, it's a huge damage increase. Like sometimes this is worth as much as 2 other lines. This is gonna be it for now. I hope this answered some more confusion about calculator, but if I forgot something again, as I usually do, or if I made a mistake, as again I usually do, please don't hesitate to ask in the comments. Thank you guys for watching, and see you next time.